YouTube, what is up? So today I have got Benks cases. The good folks over at Benks, sent me over some cases to get my thoughts and opinions on. Now I have 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max cases here. All of these cases have Kevlar, but they all have differences. But speaking of differences, you want to be different? Well, sub to my channel. Out of the 525,000 views that I've gotten on my channel, only 2%. 2%. What? Are sub to my channel. So hit that sub button, smash that like button, and let's get into some cases. Alrighty, so out of all these cases, I have got for the 16 Pro, the ArmorAir, Montage ArmorPro, and then for the 16 Pro Max, the ArmorPro 600D, and the ArmorLite 600D. Let's pop these bad boys open. This is the Air, right? Yeah, that's a nice looking little case you got going on there. So popping this out, getting rid of that. Got your little thingy here, getting rid of that.
Wait a minute, something ain't right.
And there's that nice, light, slim Kevlar case. Now going to the, let's see, the Montage ArmorPro for the 16. This one's packaged a little different. Popping it open, and another Kevlar case. Nice, sturdy. This thing's, yeah, that's the beast for the 16 Pro. That's the beast. And then for the 16 Pro Max, I have got here the ArmorPro 600D Kevlar case. There we go, and there goes that. And then over here, I've got the ArmorLite 600D for the 16 Pro Max. Woo! Got a lot of cases. Said these all have Kevlar, and this one, the 16 Pro, the ArmorAir, just real quickly going over it, it is a thin case and your buttons are exposed. However, you do have some protection here on the bottom. It's not all open. This thing feels paper light. Now going over to the ArmorPro 600D for the 16 Pro, this is a full around protection. Buttons are attached. Also got some gaps, in where the buttons are. And you got a nice metal camera ring, same with the Air, and you have your capture button, that's a cutout, and your sleep to wake button, but it is all around protection. And then we have for the 16 Pro Max, we have, I think I've got these backwards. This one is the ArmorPro 600. This one's a little bit beefier on the sides, and you have your cutout for the capture button. It is all the way around protection, and you got your little Kevlar stamp, which they all have the Kevlar stamp on the inside. Now going to the Lite. This is like the heavy duty Pro, the ArmorPro here, just it's a little bit thinner around the sides. It is all the way around protection, and it does have a nice felt lining on the inside, and you have your metal camera ring and your cutouts, buttons, cutouts. So what we're looking at, the difference is this on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the ArmorPro is a little bit beefier around the side. It's a lot more thicker than the ArmorLite here. This is more flexible, as you can see there. Let's go ahead and let's weigh these cases. All right, so I've got my scale here. Let's go ahead and start with the 16 Pro Montage. How much does that weigh? 37 grams, which for a Kevlar case, that is not too bad. This thing, I think, is gonna weigh like 2 grams. I don't know, it feels light as a feather.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
This one weighs 25 grams, which is spot on for a slim fit case. And going to the 16 Pro Max, this one is the ArmorPro 600D Kevlar. And that one weighs 44 grams, because that's a little bit of a beefier boy for you.
Oh, come on!
ArmorLite 600D is 36 grams. So this one is a little bit slimmer and a little bit, like I said, the plastic TPU rubbery area here is very flexible. Let's grab the 16 Pro here. I have in the titanium, and let's pop it in to the Montage case. That looks pretty slick, you know? That's a nice looking case. It's got the armored fiber, you know, different types of design through it. There's Montage art, and going around, you got a little bit of Benks branding up here along the black camera ring, and you have your cutouts here for the capture button, which, you know, doesn't, you know, it seems to not do so bad when you're using it. It's a little bit of a deep cut, but actually, you know what? You can just barely touch that button and it'll do its thing. And, you know, it's all the way around protection, and you've got your buttons here and your cutouts. Let's try on the ArmorAir. So the ArmorAir, popping that in there, that is a nice fit. You know, it's not trying to come off on the ends. It's like you don't really have anything. Buttons are exposed here, but you know, that is a nice cut along there, and you've got a nice little design here, and of course you've got the Benks branding along the camera ring, and then you have your precise cutouts that look really good. And then of course you have your capture button here and your sleep to wake button there. And how does that, yeah, that's, you barely even feel it there.
That's what she said.
Pops off there, nice and easy. So let's go ahead and move on down to the 16 Pro Maxes, and this is the ArmorPro 600D. This is the little bit of the beefier boy for the full-on protection, and you know, there is just your Kevlar back with the silver Benks camera ring, and then of course you have your buttons, and here along here your sleep to wakes, all around protection, and your cutouts here. And then of course you've got your camera button, which you reach down into there, and you know, it's a little deep to get down in there, but once you get it in there,
wait a minute.
and you know, even though it does fit, it does add a little bit of bulk, but it does feel good in the hand. It is not, you know, slippery. The Benks cases, their Kevlar cases, a better non-slippery. I mean, they're still a little slick. You do have some grip. The ArmorLite, let's pop that in there. That pops in there really good, you know, and it's not, you know, it tries to come out a little bit. It pops in there, and the same here. It tries to come out a little bit, but it's staying in there. And of course, again, you've got your buttons, you're all the way around protection. This one has more of a darker silver gray ring around the camera with a little bit of Benks branding there. And of course, you have your same cutout for the camera and for the camera control. But it's just, it's a little bit shallower. It's not as deep because of, it's the light version.
I feel you.
So let's see how clicky these buttons are. 16 Pro, and start with the Montage and see how clicky those buttons are. Clicky buttons? Nice and clicky. And we don't really have to check out the Air, do we? Because your buttons, it's clicky if your phone's got clicky buttons. ArmorPro for the 16 Pro Max. How are these buttons? Yeah, they've got some good click to them. 600D ArmorLite here. Let's see how clicky these buttons are. Oh. Ooh. I think the Lite's got the better click on them, don't you?
Noise.
Let's go ahead and check the fit on these cases. And let's start with the Air. Now the Air really doesn't have any type of movement anywhere. I mean, that's just, it's all stiff. This comes out a little bit. There is a little bit of a cut because, you know, it being, you know, a thin case in Kevlar. But it does a little bit, but it doesn't. It does, but it doesn't. And how about here? This is where I'm concerned. But yeah, it moves a little bit, but it conforms right back. And it's pretty good up through here and back through there and up around top. You know, you got to give it a good pull. So I got the Montage going, and how is that fit? That's pretty snug. You know, it comes up a little bit around the buttons, but snaps right back. And then right around here, around the camera control, it comes down a little bit. You know, there's just so much, I guess, you know, that they can put through here, you know, because they don't want to, they're trying to be, you know, symmetrical about it, and it's, you know, it's a good cutout, but there, you know, there's a little bit of droopage that happens here, and then down here on the bottom, you know, that comes a little bit, but it pops right back in there, and same with the top. The ArmorPro for the 16 Pro Max. Let's see what kind of fit we get around this one, and yeah, it's got a little bit here around the buttons and the button there a little bit, but it snaps right back around the cutout here. Now this one is a more substantial, you know, little bridge or whatever with this cutout. It's got a really nice, you know, symmetric cutout, but since this is a beefier case, you get a more, you know, a little bit more, you know, around the screen and where the camera control is. You know, it comes down a little bit, but it does seem to want to snap right back, which is really, really nice. And then coming around the bottom here, there's hardly any give around the cutouts. Then around top, nice and snug, and it snaps right back in. 16 Pro ArmorLite 600D Kevlar case here. And what do we got going on? Up to the top, yeah, it really bends out because it's a lighter, thinner case, and it, you know, it wants to pop back in there. Give it a second, and it comes back down in there. Now, what about around the camera control? That kind of pops back out. But again, you're looking at a thinner case, and you know they're trying to be as symmetrical as possible with giving as much protection as they can. But it does really, I mean, I can just pull that, you know, all the way out. And then along the bottom here, you know, there is some droopage there. You know, it does droop, but it snaps back. Up top, you know, got some droopage happening, but it snaps back around the buttons. You know, this one, it's loose throughout. You know, it's pretty easy to pull. So let's go ahead and check out screen protection and the camera protection. ArmorPro 600D for the 16 Pro Max. You know, it's very minimal on the screen lip, but it does stick out a little here and a little on the ends here. But through here, you know, it's a lot thinner. You know, so you know got some good thumb action, and you know this comes up just a little bit. So you should be okay setting your phone down. Now looking at the camera's got really good, you know, protection for the camera. It, you know, it's just comes up enough, even more than enough, you know, for the camera. So when you go to set it down, you should be fine. 16 Pro Max Lite. Now this one, it's got a little bit better as far as the lip protection around the screen. It doesn't really come up too much on the ends, but it is, you know, you do have that lip all the way around, but you should be okay setting your phone down like so. And then the camera, again, the camera protection is definitely there. Moving on back to the 16 Pro, let's try this Montage and see what kind of lip protection we got going on here. So here we have some good screen protection. Again, it looks like, push all the way down in there, that it comes up a little bit on the ends. It's a little bit thinner, but you do still have some good screen protection to where you should be good setting her down. And then on the camera ring, you know, actually this one's a little bit thinner there is protection there, but it's not as deep as the 16 Pro Maxes, so you should still be good setting it down like so. The ArmorAir. How much air do you get between your screen? Let's find out.
That is amazingly funny.
Jesus. Yeah, be sure and install it this way. The volume up and down first. That's how you install the ArmorAir. It's really not there. I do have a screen protector on both of my phones, and it looks like it's meeting up to the screen protector. So as far as lay down protection, just beware. And the camera, again, with the camera is not as deep as the 16 Pro Maxes, but it's plenty deep enough. So how about those magnets? So we got the 16 Pro Montage here. Nice looking magnets, got a little bit of bleed happening. You got a full dewdrop on that one. And say, oh. So the ArmorAir dewdrop magnet, it's not really there, is it? I mean, it's kinda there on this end. It's a single. And it's spotty. Although it is a thin case.
Aha!
ArmorPro for this 16 Pro Max, that's got some decent magnets there. You know, a little bit of bleed through. And then the Lite, how's the Lite looking? The Lite's got the dewdrop, and it also, although the magnets don't seem to be as wonky, they seem to be a little bit cleaner. Let's do a little bit of a charge and shake test on these cases. So let's try the Montage first on the 16 Pro. I've got my 160 gram charger here, and there you go, it charges. My wife's phone, she doesn't have the sounds on. Let's check out the dewdrop here. Yeah, it's getting a little resistance. As I push up this way, I thought, oh, that's really good resistance, but it's pushing up against the camera ring. So, but it does have a little bit. You can hear the click. It's got a little bit of resistance there. So 160 grams. Let's give it a shake. Wow, that's a lot better than I had expected. Yeah, that's some good hard shakage. Yeah, you can get some hard shakage out of that one. You gotta put this ArmorAir volume rockers first and then in. That's how you need to put this case in. So let's try the charge here. And it charges, and the 160 grams here, a little bit light, a little light shakeage, a little bit of a medium shake. Yeah, you're looking at about a medium shakeage on that. Yeah, so light to medium shakeage. So for the 16 Pro Max here, I've got the ArmorPro 600D, the beefy boy. And how are we looking with charge? And it charges. And how are we doing with that dewdrop? Yeah, a little resistance. So let's shake it a little bit here. Yeah, I got medium, hard. Yeah, you can get about medium to hard shakeage out of this. That's, you know, I believe that's a good improvement from last year's. So let's check out the Lite Pro Max here. So what do we got here? Charges. And that dewdrop. Not as much resistance as the Pro. So let's take a look at the, what are we looking at here? Medium. Yeah, no, it's still got some good shakeage out of it here. Yeah, about a little medium to hard shakeage. The ArmorPro has the better magnets out of the 4. Let's do a couple of wallet shakes. ArmorAir, the Montage, and the 16 Pro Max, the ArmorLite 600D. And now the beefy boy, the ArmorPro 600D for the 16 Pro Max. Slap. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Nope. And of course, if you're interested in any of the Benks cases, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. If you happen to be in the market for maybe not a Kevlar case, maybe something, you know, a frosted, you know, black type of case, I've got a video right here on the Spigen Ultra Hybrid that I think you might enjoy. Guys, thanks for stopping by. Peace and love.